phone Robin. Is it really true, Robin, you're not in the new series?
That's true, yes. Sadly, it wasn't my decision. So,
it wasn't you?
No.
How okay, I work for the BBC. I'm an employee of the BBC, but I'm going to say something that I shouldn't. I think that's a really, really bad decision. I'm like going to tell you why. Every single person I know who watches Strictly, out of the guys, adores you. Everybody, without fail, everyone adores you, Kristina. And I think, without doubt, the show without you is a massive loss.
I agree.
I really mean that.
Thanks,
and I
Gabby.
think that was a very, very bad decision.
It's the outpour.
Oh, that's really upset me.
The outpour I've had from the public saying how awful it is that I'm not going to be there has been absolutely amazing. And I've had 5 amazing years on the show. And after I had that horrible back operation last year, I thought, you know what, I've got one more in me at least. And then on the last day of my holiday on the way home, I get a phone call.
You got a phone call?
You won't be needed this year. Very sorry. It's kind of it, really. So
I'm really sorry.
That's okay.
I really am. I mean, I think because also, you know, as the idea of doing Strictly honestly makes me want to run to the loo because, you know, I wouldn't do it. The only way I would ever do anything vaguely connected is through you because I think you're genuinely lovely. And also, everybody that I know who's been partnered with you says you are so special. So I'm really upset about that. So I'm not going to apologise for that. I'm being very, very obvious, and I'm going to be saying that all afternoon, quite frankly. Kristina, but you are still with the show.
Yes, but it is very sad not to have Robin there because we
he's
are
your
very much a
professional
partnership, you know, and we, you know, we're very close. We're like a family, you know, just we've been with each other for 6 years, performing, dancing. Every single gig we do, we obviously do it together. I absolutely adore and love dancing.
Oh, look at your
Robin.
face. Oh, you look really
I know,
upset.
but it's true. You know, it's absolutely broke my heart because it's a professional relationship which, you know, grew into something even bigger. You know, we're so close, and it's heartbreaking not to be there.
It's just like my sister. I mean, we're the only couple I think in history that have danced together for 6 years. We've never had one argument, not one.
Yeah, we enjoy
That says a
dancing
lot about
with
both
each
of
other.
you.
We love dancing. We love our craft, you know, together. And we're obviously, you know, going on a tour now, putting on the Ritz, which is fun, wonderful experience for us because we'll be doing things together. It's our choreography, our vision of music on that stage. So I'm so looking forward to it because to be honest, I'm heartbroken. I'm going to be there without Robin. So
there's lots that we're going to be talking to you about, both of you about, because we'll talk about putting on the Ritz, and we'll also talk about what the papers have been doing to you, Kristina, which I had nothing to do with me, but I apologise because I think it's absolutely awful. So we'll talk about that later as well, but it is a joy and delight to have you both here.
Thank
and
you,
I want you
Gabby.
both here every week. No, we're talking about putting on the Ritz, and before we do that, we'd already spoken, and Robin got his moment to say how shocked and upset he was, and I'm not putting words into your mouth, but that they told you they didn't want you back for Strictly, and we're all completely disgusted, and I don't care how that I work for the BBC, but I think it's wrong. I think it's a bad decision of theirs, and you explained how gutted you were about it and heartbroken. Kristina, let's get out of the way what's been in the papers recently, and particularly today. It seems ridiculous for you not to be able to speak out and speak your own words about what the papers have done to you once again today and your alleged relationship.
yeah, I think, you know, I always try to stay away from sort of giving anything to them because I don't believe that my private life is up for discussion. You know, it is my private life.
Good for you.
And just because I work on the show, which watched by 30 million people, it doesn't mean I belong sort of as a person to everyone to know what's happening in my life. And, you know, I'm a professional dancer and I always strive to be the best as I can be at my work. And I think that my work should speak for itself. You know, I'm obviously a passionate dancer and I love working on the show, and I think this is what press should be about more than anything else. It's very uncomfortable to go outside of your flat for many, many years here in London, you know, and I lived in different places and see paparazzi sitting outside trying to catch you. So this is...
Is that happening at the moment? Because there have been pictures of you leaving your flat.
happened last year, the year before. It's always something there, and, you know, obviously it makes you feel like you can't live your normal life, you know, and, you know, the stories would fly around, and there is so much lying in it as well, you know, there is so much wrong facts in it. So, like I said, but I'm going to still say that, you know, it's my private life, and I don't want to say any more than that, to be
Absolutely,
honest.
and I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, that I think is, that you did say to me off-air, which I'm not going to say unless you want to say it, is... and it's about you, so I'm not going to talk about the gentleman involved in this because that is, you know, but as you said, you are a single person. It is not like you are married with 20 children and, you know, you are allowed a life.
Exactly.
Surprise,
and I think
surprise.
we're all allowed that privacy, in our lives. It doesn't mean if you do something publicly, like your obviously job on TV or radio or whatever it is, you still want to feel safe in your private life. And I actually never felt in 7 years safe.
You've never felt safe in your private life?
No, I felt because it's always been intruded by the press, and by obviously journalists, and they can be quite vicious and very horrible, and and that's obviously it's not a very nice place to be. And I'm not the only one who went through it. I know obviously a lot of people in show business who go through things like that, and it's not very nice, of course.
And I know you've been outspoken about the same gentleman that before, how it sent you to very, very dark places.
Absolutely, very dark place, because my mother was also going through a breast cancer scare. So I was working on the show, dealing with my mom in Russia, and being going through lots of tests, obviously, which made me very unsettled because I couldn't fly back and actually help her. I could only help her financially, but not be actually there for her. So I had to deal with my mom going through all of that, and plus very vicious press, And obviously, yes, it put me into the point when I felt like I just couldn't carry on anymore, maybe. And just because of my friends and people who support me, I could move forwards and actually keep going. So, and there's always
like
dancing. Absolutely, Robin, and he's like I said, he's not only a friend, he's a family, and I think my dancing, my passion for my work, I had an exceptionally great year with Simon Webb on the show last year, and he was great partner to dance with and very talented. So I kind of focused obviously on doing that, doing my job well with him, and we got to the final, so that was good.
It is ridiculous that every time that you are partnered, they like to make out that you're having an affair with them.
Well, they also wrote about Simon and I as well.
Yes, that's what I mean.
No, it's that he's dating somebody else. In fact, I had a lovely actually lunch with his girlfriend the other day. It's just silly. It's just silly. It's almost something about the show where the papers always want to make some stories, and the lack of them, they're going to make something up or bring something from the past, and that's how it goes. It goes around the circles over and over again.
Well, you know what? Whatever you and whoever it is, whatever, I hope you're happy, because it's worth it. If you're happy, it's worth absolutely turning your back on the press. And Robin, you've been through it as well, because all the hoo-ha about whether you were with Marcus and whether you weren't, all of that.
Oh, there was speculation that I was with Lisa Riley at one point, which...
Sorry?
When I was
I'm confused now.
Just because we got on so well together and we had such a great time together.
She's one of your best friends.
My best friend in the whole world, and I'm gay for a start, so but they were completely barking up the wrong tree. But they see people having a great time together, and whether it just be two people having an awful lot of fun, they put 2 and 2 together and make 25.
Yeah, well, Kristina, I really mean it.
Did poor Lisa know?
Maybe she thought you were going on. Kristina, I hope you're very happy.
Thank you,
that's
Gabby.
your
I
business.
really appreciate it.
Now let's talk about putting on the Ritz.
Yes.
Tell us about this show.
Well, we've been really fortunate to be asked to star alongside Pixie Lott in Putting on the Ritz, which is a song and dance show.
Brendan likes it.
Taking us right back to the Gershwin Cole era.
Oh, it's fabulous.
It's paying homage to Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, all of that kind of era. It's the most memorable songs from their time, with some wonderful singers. We've had one day of rehearsals with the actual cast.
One day?
We're coming in a bit separately. They've been rehearsing for a month.
We're doing now Monday and Tuesday with
yes,
them.
we're going in with them. Yeah, we haven't started yet.
You're only doing 1 day rehearsal?
Yeah.
Gordon Kennedy, have you ever done a show and only had 1 day rehearsal?
Yes, and it's not been good.
I'm scared for them.
No, but we rehearsed obviously together. We put our dances together, our solos, and we just had to step in and sort of do our slot in the show.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant the whole show was
No. They've been rehearsing for a month, working extremely hard, and we got to see them on Friday for the first time, and it is magnificent. These dancers are working so hard. There's 6 singers who are all incredible, and it's going to be a great experience.
I know, it's so exciting actually to do something like that, totally different from Strictly, totally different from other projects.
Oh, but Burn the Floor.
Burn the Floor.
Oh,
was
I went completely loony about that. I saw that show, and I didn't know how much I loved live dance, and after I became slightly hysterical though with YouTube. Brendan, I really made a fool of myself, but I was. Oh, yeah! It was fantastic, and I couldn't sit down, and I was crying.
It was a great
It's
show.
worth pointing out with dancers, though, it's different to learning lines. Dancers, I was blown away. I worked on Riverdance. I was a producer on that years ago, 15 years ago when it started.
Why didn't you tell me that bit?
Because I toured the world when I was 24. It was amazing. All I had to do was get the Russian dancers their visas. That was my only job. My favourite people in the world. That was my job. Anyway, whatever. I was amazed at when dancers were shown a routine, and I used to live with a dancer who toured with Kylie, that they...
Of course you
it's their
did.
language, right? So that's their language. So they'd be shown a routine and they'd pick it up in a day.
It's sort of like
It's their
musicians and
language,
music.
yeah.
It's like you watch and you show somebody music.
Exactly.
And it is
They know
absolutely
their body
extraordinary,
so well.
especially
They
when
watch and they can interpret it, and it's just mind blowing.
Gordon, would you do Strictly?
would I do Strictly?
Yes.
Come on, Gordon.
You really don't know. You don't want to wish for that. My major sport in life was rugby. So, and I'm not a professional. Not like the rugby
Let's
players
not
you
go.
see
Hey,
now.
let's leave the rugby players out.
okay.
That's what we were trying not to.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. But I'm
been
from
out
a
of the
very different
country.
era, so I'm not sure I'd be great at Strictly. No, I'd love
But
to
she's
do.
the
Yeah, but I
best.
danced with John Sargent, and he could dance a little bit in the end of it
Okay, if you can dance
so-
with John Sargent, I think I may top John Sargent. but
Can I ask
only
you a
just.
question?
Dancing is for everyone.
Yeah, no, I know.
But actually seeing it.
When they give you the list, right, when you're on Strictly, right, do you all sit around going, oh no, I don't want that one?
Is it actually straws? Do they actually draw straws? And the one with John Sargent is the smallest straw.
Well, that was my first year on the show. I think they were testing me.
Well, I think you definitely passed the test.
So putting on the Ritz, where can we all see it, please?
We open in Wimbledon at the Wimbledon Theatre this coming Wednesday. So Wednesday through Saturday, and then we go on tour. Myself and Kristina are just doing 5 weeks at the moment together. And then Jared Murillo and Katia Vachelas, who were on Strictly a few years ago, they're popping in as well at some point. Along with Trent Widden, who danced with Pixie Lott last year.
Who's also not going back.
He's not going back this year either, no. And nor is the lovely Iveta Lukashuta, who we all loved.
Yes, but it's you that I'm heartbroken. I don't think I'm going to watch it. If you'd like to book online to see these gorgeous people dancing, and honestly, to see them dancing live it is a very emotional experience. It really, really is. Gordon Kennedy don't look like that. It is. It's very emotional.
I think a lot of things. I
Sexy.
think that's part of the problem with television. It sort of dulls some stuff, and actually when you see things live, sport and dancing
Yes,
and all that
true,
sort of
I
stuff,
agree.
you and
Nothing like live,
and
nothing
the Riverdance, another thing. You
Yeah.
see that live. It's
The energy is
absolutely
there.
There's a certain
extraordinary.
energy that comes off of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
real.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well,
It's like
go-
watching somebody
We
do their
love
job and
theatre.
go,
That's why we
Book
love
this.
it.
And I'm not saying that because I'm just in the theatre and normally I'm television. If I was plugging a television show, I'd be arguing with you now.
No, but we'll be talking about your show as well,
Yeah,
which
no.
people have to see because you're Gordon Brown. www.atgtickets.com/Wimbledon to see them this week. As I said, they're going to be on tour for 5 weeks. But as always, it is such a pleasure to see you two. And I'm so pleased that you got a moment that today, that actually the story came out today in the press, and you got a moment to say, I'm just getting on with my life. So good for you. Here's a
Thank
bit of
you,
Will
Gabby.
Young.
Thanks.